Long, long ago, in a beautiful village called Inquedria, meaning tree of life, lived a maiden called Adepa. Like the meaning of her name, only good omen came to her. Inquedria was a diverse community where the rich and normal class lived in harmony. Due to Adepa's good behavior and respectfulness, she was amongst the few maidens that was loved by all. Unlike the other maidens that came from affluence, Adepa was from a poor home, but she never let her poor background define her. One morning, Nancy, a well-known rich woman, came to Adepa's compound in search of a maiden who can take care of her children and family when she traveled to neighboring villages and towns selling her kente that she weaved. Adepa was excited to start this part of her life. She believed life had chapters to every season, and this was her new chapter in this season. Love at first sight was a lie someone said to his lover to woo her, or it does really exist. Daniel stared at Adepa, the young lady his wife had brought home as a servant. Nancy said to her husband and two sons, "This is Adepa, our new househelp. She would be taking care of the house. She will be doing the cleaning, cooking, and any other duties that will be delegated to her." Adepa smiled, revealing her dimpled cheeks. Daniel was mesmerized. He was a family man who loved his wife and family, but this girl was going to be a problem to him. He had already fallen for her angelic face, body, gesture, and even her smile. Was this possible? She was pure innocent if he was asked to describe her in one word. Daniel was amongst the generational rich people. His father and ancestors were cocoa farmers and merchants in the whole of Inquedria and other villages. With his wealth and status, the level of respect he received from the community was on another level. A week into living with the adults, Daniel avoided Adepa completely. He was out of the house before sunrise and returned at night. He occupied himself with activities. He had never experienced this kind of feeling ever in his life. He was the man that only had eyes for his wife and his wife alone. He had never lusted after any woman besides his wife. He barely even recognized any woman in his entire existence. So why was this time so different? When he closes his eyes, he pictures Adepa vividly with her radiant smile, clear hazel eyes, and dimples. Sleep played hide and seek with Daniel. Was she a witch who had come to capture his attention from his wife? Or it was just her aura that drew her to him? Looking at his wife sleeping peacefully beside him, he pecked her cheeks and went to bed. Adepa was up at dawn cleaning and washing clothes. Unbeknownst to Daniel, he tried sneaking out of the compound when he came into contact with her. She was bent over, revealing her chocolate ties and her beads around her waist. Daniel was rooted at the door, staring at the beauty before he had to resist for the sake of his family. He ran out of the compound like a child being chased by his mother. Adepa watched as her master ran out of the compound. The chief priest in Inquedria was a powerful seer whose vision was set to come to pass no matter the circumstances. One day, on her way from the market, Adepa saw the fetish priest approach. Submissively, she bowed. "Good day, eyes of the gods," she said. "Good day, my daughter," he continued. "The god said, very soon you will be the head and not the tail. Just wait a little longer." The chief priest said and walked off without looking back, leaving Adepa puzzled. Some weeks later, Nancy would travel and return months later, and sometimes it was Daniel that traveled. Adepa, in both situations, catered for the house and the children. One midnight, Adepa couldn't sleep, so she went out and sat in the darkness behind her hut, where no one would see her. Daniel, her master, was out of town, one of his numerous travels. Adepa saw Nancy, wrapped in her cloth, sneaking a man into her matrimonial room. She watched around and made sure no one saw her. Adepa, tucked away in the darkness, sat silently and watched. "Whatever goes up must come down," Adepa said, shaking her head. The gentleman Nancy was having an affair with was one of her many workers. Adepa had seen him on several occasions, but she never once thought that her mother was cheating on her husband with a worker. Ever since Adepa saw her madam and her worker, she noticed things that she wouldn't have noticed before, like how Nancy would talk to Kwame and laughed when he said something not so funny, or how he would come over to eat in the house. Nancy would serve him personally and treat him more like a husband than a worker, or how awfully similar the two boys, Fifi and Ofori, looked like Kwame. This became a headache to Adepa. She couldn't break up her employer's marriage, but she couldn't also watch her madam make a fool out of her husband, hiding her lover right underneath their nose. One afternoon, Adepa visited her mother and told her everything that was going on in her employer's home. But her wise mother told her, "Everything in the darkness will come to light in due time. Let it be and watch how the gods bring judgment." Adepa went back to her workplace with the hope of 99 days for the thief, 1 day for the master. That 1 day came faster than Adepa had thought. Daniel had successfully avoided the thought of Adepa through his travels that lasted 2 months. It was 2 a.m. in the morning as he walked into his compound, hoping to catch some rest before morning. He was going to have a long day, his heart beating with the thought of seeing his servant in the morning. Nearing his hut, he could hear morning sound, that of his wife and another man. His heart stopped for a second. Barging into the room, there on his matrimonial bed, was his wife and her worker, Kwame, in bed making love, oblivious to their surroundings. "Nancy!" Daniel shouted. Kwame ran out without his boxers, while Nancy begged the husband. The day that came were like thunderstorm. Daniel found out his children weren't even his. My marriage had been a sham. Daniel sent his wife packing and kept his kids. Though he wasn't related to them by blood, he raised them as a father. Adepa packed and was ready to leave and end this chapter of her life when a knock was heard at the door. "Can I come in?" Daniel asked. Adepa, puzzled, replied, "Yes, sir, you can." Daniel came into her hut and said, "Adepa, please stay. I know Nancy brought you into this compound, but I want you to stay and take care of my children." Saying that, he drew nearer to her and touched her face. "Love at first sight is what I had with you." Immediately I saw you when Nancy brought you into this house. I loved you without a reason. Love at first sight wasn't something that I had experienced before, but with you, I did. I would want you to stay, Daniel said, as he drew her near and kissed her passionately, emptying his bottled up emotions and his affections towards her, starting a new chapter. And just like her name, Adepa, something good came her way.